Well, keeping an eye on the environment now, an award-winning photographer out with a new book highlighting the natural beauty, history, and science behind one of our most important bodies of water.
That would be the Columbia River. Many of us drive over it, sometimes multiple times a day, to get to and from Southwest Washington. Well, we're going to give it a closer look this morning. Joining us to talk about his new book and the significance of the Columbia River is photographer David Moskowitz. Good morning.
Good to be with you.
Thanks for joining us. I think this is a really fascinating deep dive into something that a lot of us probably do kind of take for granted because it's right here in our own backyard. What got you interested in working on this project?
Well, I live in the Columbia River watershed as well in north central Washington state, and I became fascinated with just how big and varied the entire watershed is, which actually covers many states and is the size of the nation of France, actually. So just very diverse, fascinating landscape.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I guess I never gave thought to how much of an area that watershed encompasses.
Totally. Well, I guess that sheds a little bit of light into why you named your book Big River rather than the Columbia River. So what is the meaning behind the title? Is it just the fact that it's as vast as it is?
Yeah, actually, Big River is a rough translation of a number of indigenous language names for the river.
Oh.
And a big part of our project was taking a varied cultural look at this river system. And obviously the term Columbia is a recent moniker added to this river. So we wanted to take a broader perspective on it. That included the first peoples and their perspectives on this river system, as well as all of the contemporary people that live, work, and play and depend on this river system today.
Absolutely.
Interesting.
Let's talk about its importance in the region, both, in that historical context. So many native tribes did depend on this river for so many different things. And then even to today, there are lots of things that we depend on. So what are some of the issues that you explore in this book?
Yeah, so there's many different ways that people connect with the Columbia River. Indigenous peoples today still depend on it for fish and cultural connection to their traditions, and then obviously we use it for hydropower, flood control. Portland actually is totally dependent on an international treaty that governs the management of the river between Canada and the United States to keep Portland from flooding, and irrigation, which helps produce a huge amount of food that goes all over the world. Our hydropower goes far beyond the watershed itself. So those are just a few of the ways that, and then of course recreation.
What's really neat about this, and I'm kind of flipping through the pages right now, but I mean, it's kind of equal parts, text and, picture book, essentially. And I don't mean picture book as in like a childish way, but just, you really do a nice job through your photography of illustrating the beauty. But why is this important to be able to visualize in this book different parts of the Columbia River and the Columbia River Gorge?
Yeah, I mean, that was my inspiration, was there was no really broad photo documentary project that covered the entire watershed. And I wanted to give people the opportunity to easily see the breadth of this watershed geographically, culturally, ecologically. And so this seemed like a great way to get folks invested and understanding and appreciating, even if they know this one part of the watershed, maybe they didn't realize how far and broadly they're connected with different people in different places. And the photography for me was a easy and engaging way to bring people into this story.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the photography is beautiful.
I was going to say, not to mention, it is hard to take a bad picture of this river. It is just everywhere you look, just so picturesque. Well, if folks want to dig a little deeper into this topic, they can do it at a fun event coming up at OMSI next week. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so we're doing a bunch of events throughout the watershed right now. We'll be in Portland on June 18th at OMSI, and images from this book will be up on a big screen there. And then we've got a series of speakers, all with different relationships, including to the river, including myself and a local Portlander, and then just some other folks from the region that will all share different cultural perspectives and personal relationships with the river, and panel discussion about the contemporary issues on the river today.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
It really makes you appreciate where you live, I think, when you really stop and think about how much we depend on the environment around us.
Absolutely. David, very well put together. It's been great to talk to you this morning. Thanks for taking the time.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. And again, that new book, Big River, Resilience and Renewal in the Columbia Basin, now available for purchase. And you can catch David at that upcoming speaking event Tuesday, June 18th over at OMSI, happening from 6:30 to 8 p.m. Those doors open at 6:15. For tickets, go to omsi.edu/events.